Hello, welcome to Tiger Videos. So this is a near 0% chance that you've heard of the movie Beverly Hills Ninja.
Hi everyone!
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this. So I found out about this movie when looking for examples to show a bad martial art film, but this doesn't even really count. It's meant to be kind of bad, right? But even if you're making fun of martial arts, you should have at least a little bit of self-awareness. Holy shit, it has 10,000 more ratings than Police Story, which, if you haven't seen, is one of the greatest action films ever made. So Beverly Hills Ninja. Great name. It stars Chris Farley, God rest his soul, and was directed by Dennis Dugan, who's best known for Happy Gilmore and Don't Mess with Zohan. So you can expect a lot of slapstick humor. And to be perfectly honest, I like Happy Gilmore. It's not peak comedy, but it has its moments. So maybe so will this movie. Let's watch some of the trailer and get a feel for this.
They believed this was the child.
Because fat.
I must go to the hills of Beverly, find Sally Jones and save her.
Hi everyone!
Oh, right, because he's fat. I'm not a huge fan of funny cause fat humor, but it is a ninja movie starring Chris Farley, so...
Please, anything but that.
But I do like some good old-fashioned slapstick, which we'll get into later.
And prove to the world.
I am one with the universe. I am one with the universe.
No, I am not! That he
Because pervert. This fucking song.
presents a film that puts
You know how many fucking movies use that song? Rush Hour, Kung Fu Panda, Wayne's World 2, Daddy fucking Daycare. It's a sign of a hilarious movie. No, really. Well, that's enough of that. Trailers aren't the best anyway, so let's just see what the movie has to give us. So it starts with this music to try to establish the theme, but it's called Beverly Hills Ninja, so I'm already a little confused.
For hundreds of years in Japan, there has lived a clan who have dedicated themselves to a secret art of self-defense and survival.
So yeah, there's a clan and they're ninjas, and there's a prophecy of a great white ninja.
We were wrong.
And of course, the main character, whose name is Haru, sucks.
We were very wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they really came up with the idea of him being absolutely terrible. Not to develop character or anything, but just to make it more triumphant when he inevitably doesn't suck. So we get a montage showing off how bad Haru is, in case you were confused by that. But it doesn't really show any real combative training, which you'd think you want to show, but instead we get, haha, he's fat, and some random weapon stuff. And we get introduced to Haru's brother,
I
Gobi.
love my little brother. His heart's like a flower. His determination's like a tiger.
No. Well, that's pretty ballsy. So, I guess they have a different purpose for him than having a predictable arc.
And he's fat, he's a fool, and he's an embarrassment to ninjas everywhere.
No, never mind. So we get into this ninja graduation, and we really start to realize how terrible the sensei is at acting.
This is that special time when I can say to you, you are a ninja. You can communicate with other ninjas by projecting yourself onto the plane of enlightenment.
Making what? Okay. That's how you actually surprised me a little.
Remember, on this plane, which can be shared by no other mortal,
That came out of nowhere. Was that really the best way to present that? So the other ninjas are going out on training, but Haru is told to watch the school while they're gone.
only. But your job is an important one. You are to remain here to protect the village and guard.
This guy doesn't believe a word that's coming out of his own mouth. So we're about 7 minutes in and there's been very little action. And because the character is being left alone, I can only assume something is going to happen. Oh, fuck. Thank God it didn't go full swing. So we get into another bit to show he sucks at what he does, so basically the story is going nowhere.
Is this the Takagoro dojo?
Thank God there's a new character. We better be getting into the plot soon so I have a reason to give a shit. But no, he lies about being a ninja, he dicks around showing that he sucks again. In case you were confused, he plays with some dead ninja ashes? What the hell? But finally, he really does ask what she needs.
Tell me why you are in need of a ninja.
Because what I need requires great stealth.
Ah, you are in luck. You see, my highest grades were in stealth. Let me give you an example.
No!
Please close your eyes, turn around, and count to 9.
So he fucks around even more. Eventually, she says that she wants him to spy on her boyfriend. Jesus Christ. So we learn that the boyfriend is making counterfeit bills and that he's the most unintimidating villain ever.
What does that do me?
No good.
Well, here's some advice for your next life. Never take a job you can't complete.
So he's missing half of the printing plates or something and needs to go to LA. But Guy's body falls into Haru's stealth boat, and he flees from the cops, and the cops see him with a dead body and non-comically escapes. So yeah, we meet the villain and we learn where he's going, but what purpose does this scene have other than just advancing the plot? We don't learn anything about Haru. The villain is generic. The police see Haru with a body, and that comes into play later, but not really. So anyway, he goes back to school, and now he's in trouble with his teacher.
I do believe you, Haru, but I'm worried.
Yes, I believe you are very concerned. Haru insists that he needs to help this lady from earlier.
It sounds to me you're being led around by your short sword.
Wow.
You do not even have normal intuition.
So he convinces his sensei in no time at all to let him follow the girl to LA to finish his mission. Gobi is told to follow him so that he can complete his arc. Unfunny stuff happens on his journey, and he arrives at LA to some excellent music. Nice.
That's it, crap.
Oh shit. Yeah, I don't think so.
Go.
At least the humor has to do something with stealth, which I can appreciate. So he finds the hotel based on a pack of matches he got from the lady.
And sue this company for millions of dollars, so I figured I would just pace myself.
You're introduced to Chris Rock's character, who does nothing this whole movie, so I'm gonna skip this part.
No! What are you, like a third-degree black belt?
The blackness of my belt is like the inside of a coffin on a moonless night.
That's pretty black, man.
That was uncomfortable. So Haru tells Chris Rock to fuck off while he tries looking for Sally.
I thought we was homies, man. I thought you was my boy, my ninja. I thought
No. I'm not gonna touch that one. So on his journey, we get an awesome poop joke.
I'm gonna meet ya. I'm gonna meet ya.
Sally!
Meet ya.
Fuck!
Go.
That actually scared me a little. If this was most of the movie, I wouldn't be upset. But instead of being creative with like martial arts jokes or acrobatics, we get dumb LA comedy stuff. So thanks to Gobi, Haru finds Sally, or Allison, or whatever. So he also finds the boyfriend by following Allison, and they end up at a nightclub. You're gonna be shocked at the joke they use in this scene. So we learn that the bad guy is like against another gang or something. It's so boring of a concept. And it doesn't help that the lines are bad and both of these guys have zero charisma.
Grab the plates and try and run the show.
You don't have a choice, Mr. Tanley.
The tone is so confusing. Because you have like these comedy bits, but it cuts to like the serious scene like it's trying to be serious. You need to know what you're making when it comes to this kind of film. Is it for kids? Is it for adults? If you want to do it something funny, but have like an underlining sense of consequence. You have to incorporate it into the existing elements of your film. Not do a jarring cut from seriousness to comedy. An excellent example of this is Jackie Chan's Police Story, which is a super violent movie, and there's serious consequences to the action, but it's still funny because of how it's presented. So Haru enters the stage on accident. I can't show this scene because it's basically softcore porn, and if you don't believe me when I say it adds nothing to the story, then watch it yourself. There's a fight with the villains that's poorly done, and then we get to the best character in the whole movie.
Help! Police! No! I did not do it!
Jesus, she keeps going. So yeah, he gets blamed for murder again. There's another great performance from Sensei.
There's a problem you are facing. There's a problem you are facing.
And he finds the villain's home. Oh my god, he's gonna kill that dog, isn't he? No, never mind. The dog ends up chasing him anyway, and Gobe hoists the dog into the air. He's not even climbing that rope at all. He learns that Allison lied about her name, and apparently she's dating the villain to learn what happened to her sister. Okay? And they team up to try to find the other half of the missing plates or something. Gru follows the villain to a restaurant where he listens to a conversation about the counterfeit that everyone in the room should be able to hear, and learns that he needs a print specialist, I think. This whole counterfeiting story is so dull, and I wouldn't even know how to fix it. It doesn't exactly lend itself well to the theme, which is ninjas. They spend a day on this script. The rival gang shows up and Haru accidentally kills one of them. It would have been more funny if it was like an innocent person, or like a small child. So the fight breaks out and this lady starts fighting all of a sudden. What the fuck is she doing? What? Oh, that's... I mean... Fights the guy with the fish. And they escape. This is the first real fight scene in the movie, and I'm really disappointed. Nothing new or clever, nothing is learned by the end of the fight, the energy is low, the movie came out the same year as Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Okay, bad example. But even if combat is silly, you gotta have the energy. The pacing and choreography is all sloppy. It's not shot in any creative way, actors wait to get hit. It's just lame.
Good night.
Okay, again, who is this movie for? They find the guy that is said to make the counterfeit bills, and we are given an alright scene.
Now listen, the effects of a tiny spore are profound. Open his mouth.
If I get caught, I could do 30 years. When he's done, he'll probably kill you.
And it's fine, it's funny, I laughed, it allows Chris Farley to do what he does best. When searching for this movie, it's one of the first things that come up too. And the next part of what Chris Farley pretends to be the guy that does the counterfeit printing, it's kind of funny.
Nice jacket. Who shot the couch?
Very funny, Mr. Walters.
How are you gonna drive with that on?
It's for you.
Right, of course it is. Hear about the lady that backed into the fan? Made a disaster. Disaster.
Mr. Walters, I don't care.
Okay, you bet.
He gets in their base, Gobi does what he does best. Haru fails at stealing the plates and gets caught. And then a bunch of things with the rival gang from earlier happen. All you need to know is that Allison's taken captured, and Gobi takes the fall for Haru so he doesn't have to go to prison. So the obvious happens, and Gobi is told to appreciate his brother. We get the line delivery of the century from Sensei.
Sensei, you just called me a ninja.
Yes, I guess I did.
He's accepted as a ninja, and is also transferred a set of gear for no good reason. He suits up, and the film pretends Chris Rock's character is justified.
There's no time to waste, Joey.
I'm with you.
Pointless scene with a blindfold gag, because ninjas are known for their blindfold shenanigans.
I am ready.
Everybody in my family like to drop.
Gobi keeps Chris Rock as useful as he was, and drives our protagonist to the final battle.
Allison, you've lived 24 hours longer than anyone else who's ever betrayed me. Which is why I brought you this present. A little bang. Oh, but don't worry. At that distance, you'll vaporize before you feel a thing.
I wish I'd killed you months ago.
The feeling's mutual.
This guy is really bad at this.
The difference is, I'm able...
Like, why not like an interesting motive or something? Make him a little more interesting than Chris Rock's character. It's the final battle, and all I want to see at this point is some competent action. the absurdness of this film was consistent, I would be laughing with it, but it just seems lazy. So he gets in and then he gets into the fight with a bunch of goons, but Gobi comes to the rescue. So now the action is slightly better, but it's so minimal that they had to slow it down to keep it lasting longer. It isn't very creative still. Bad guys are still waiting to attack. I mean, I was expecting the movie to be bad, but I wasn't expecting it to be lazy. Bad action can be funny as hell, but it depends on how much effort is going into something that's already incompetent. So Gobi stays and fights, and Haru tries to find Allison and tries defusing the bomb that was mentioned earlier, and he fails miserably. So he goes back to Gobi, and the movie tries to have its paying off point. Haru leaps to the rescue.
I may not be the best ninja. I may not be one with the universe. But I will tell you this. No one messes with my brother! Everybody will
Stop with this song! The best thing I can say about this part is that this move is kind of neat because it's kind of clever. But the cartwheel looks terrible, and this stick is further from this guy's face than Chris Rock is from the plot. If the movie was more like funny action or like ninja stealthy stuff, I would have no problem with it. But it's not. It is a bad Hollywood comedy that has very little ideas to attach to the concept of... So they start losing again, and then Chris Rock wants some more screen time. Really? I would almost give this movie credit for saying it's intentional, but it can't make up its mind on what it wants to be.
Nicely done, Joey.
They keep losing anyway. Thanks, Chris. They get free in the dullest way possible. And because they did such a good job at making him scary, the villain uses a gun because that separates him from every other disposable villain in the movie. He runs out of ammo. The only intentional funny slapstick happens. Haru then blocks bullets with a sword, takes the bad guy down, uses a fucking harpoon to get rid of the bomb, and then saves the day. Chris Rock has this line.
I'm sure you've heard the legend of the Great Black Ninja.
I haven't. Is that you?
Some say it is so.
Haru leaves his home forever. He's given a medal despite already having one. He takes off with Allison and Gobi. Gets dragged by the back of a vehicle and is launched several feet in the air and then dies to the best fucking song ever. So there you have it, Beverly Hills Ninja. It's bad. Avoid it. I'm not going to rate this movie on the same scale I would like a regular movie. I'm rating this on a scale of action because that's more of my job. And before I go any further, let me just say I honestly did enjoy this movie, even if almost all of it was ironic enjoyment. So maybe you can enjoy it that way too. So the things I like to take into consideration are the characters' performances, because that can affect how you view fight scenes, how good the story is, and how well it lends itself to having excuses for having fight scenes, the importance of the fight scenes to themes like characters and arcs, and the overall story, and lastly, the choreography itself. So I gotta say, most of the performances were pretty bad, both during and apart from the fight scenes. The story, as I was saying a lot, was dull and predictable, and left me nowhere to go, and doesn't have a good setting to have excuses for fight scene. The fight scenes themselves don't really impact the story in very any way. It could have easily been gunfights or literally any other kind of conflict, and it would have had just as much impact. And the fight scenes themselves were really poorly done, except for one part that I kind of liked, because the fights only really got good at the end, and at that point you didn't care, and it was so minimal that it doesn't even count. So that's a 1.5 out of 10 for me. This movie's biggest issue isn't that it tries to take itself seriously, it's that it fails at comedy, which is just painful on its own. It's a bad comedy, and it's a bad action movie.